Okay, so what if we wanted to expand the logarithm log base 3, clean that, there we go, of the cube root of x squared divided by 27y to the fourth. Okay. So once again, the first thing you want to do is get rid of any square root or cube root or seventh root, any root symbols. Okay. So you want to remember, two things you want to remember is that the cube root of x is equal to x to the 1/3. And you want to remember the exponent rule that tells us that if you have x to the power of m, and that's raised to the nth power, then that's equal to x to the m times n. Okay. So both of those will help with our numerator. Okay, so that means our log base 3 of the cube root of x squared becomes log base 3 of x squared to the 1/3 power divided by 27y to the fourth. We'll make that a little bit long. Okay, so this time the root symbol is just on the numerator. Before it was over the entire thing. Okay, so we can multiply these two together. And once we multiply those two together, that would give us log base 3 of x to the 2/3 power. Over 27y to the fourth. Okay, so once we have all of our root symbols gone, now we can worry about whether it's dividing or multiplying. Okay, since we're multiplying here, not multiplying, dividing. I'm thinking ahead to the next step. So division means the quotient rule. Excuse me. Okay, so that gives us log base 3 of x to the 2/3 power minus log base 3 of 27y to the fourth. Okay, so now when we look at this one, even though we separated it using the division, the quotient rule, we still have multiplication here. So multiplication means product rule. And remember, we're subtracting that entire term. So when we rewrite it, which gives us log base 3 of x to the 2/3 power. And if you want to do the power rule there, you can. I just drag it down to the end because that's my own little technique. Minus, you have log base 3 of 27. Plus log base 3 of y to the fourth. Okay. Again, if we want to distribute that negative, that would now give us log base 3 of x to the 2/3 power minus log base 3 of 27 plus log base 3 of y to the fourth. Oh, minus, sorry about that. Okay. Now this can be simplified. Okay. So instead of writing it underneath, since we're running out of room a little bit, I'm just going to write it on the side. So log base 3 of 27 will make that equal y. Okay. If we convert it, it's 3 to the power of y equals 27. We know that 27 is just 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. So we can rewrite this as 3 to the power of y equals 3 to the power of 3. Okay. So our bases are the same, so that means our y is equal to 3. So this entire term just becomes 3. Okay. So if we use the power rule, well, I'll just put this here, equals 3. So for this term, we can use our power rule and bring that down. And for this term, we can use our power rule. Okay, which will give us our answer if we bring that 2/3 down. 2/3 log base 3 of x minus that we proved is equal to 3, minus, we bring that 4 down to the front, log base 3 of y. All right, so any questions on that one? All right. Okay. Nope, no one's done. Looks like everyone's done. Okay, so let's say for our next example, if we wanted to expand the logarithm log base 5 of the cube root, and everything is going to be under that cube root of 3x squared divided by 4y to the third times z. I'll give you a few minutes to start on that one. Yes.
Is that 4y cubed or 4y squared?
4y to the third power cubed. so for this one, first thing you want to do is get rid of that root symbol. Okay, say the cube root of x is just x to the 1/3 power. So that means since this entire thing is under the cube root, that gives us log base 5 of 3x squared over 4y. I don't know why I was about to draw the y first. 4y to the 3rd z to the 1/3 power. Okay. And using the power rule, that's just going to bring that right down to the front. So we have 1/3 times log base 5 of 3x squared over 4y to the 3rd times z. Okay. So now that we got rid of our root symbol, we see we have division. So we know that's the quotient rule. Uh-oh. Oh, actually, I should just put a T there. Okay, that's our quotient rule there. So that takes us to, remember your 1/3, times log base 5 of 3x squared minus log base 5 of 4y to the 3rd z. Okay, so we got rid of our quotient, but we still have multiplication inside of there. Which means we're going to use the product rule. Okay, so that will now give us 1/3 times log base 5 of 3 plus log base 5 of x squared, which is our first term, minus, remember when that's expanded, everything in there is going to be subtracted. So we have log base 5 of 4 plus log base 5 of y to the 3rd plus log base 5 of z. Okay, so if you want to distribute that negative, you can. So you have 1/3, oh, forgot to close off that bracket there. So you have 1/3 times log base 5 of 3 plus log base 5 of x squared minus log base 5 of 4 minus log base 5 of y to the 3rd minus log base 5 of z. Okay. Now if you wanted to, you could have just went ahead and did the power rule in each one of those, but we're going to use the power rule here, and we're going to use the power rule there, which gives us our final answer of 1/3 times log base 5 of 3. Bring down our 2, that will be plus 2 times log base 5 of x minus log base 5 of 4. If we bring down our 3, minus 3 times log base 5 of y minus log base 5 of z. Which is your final answer. Straighten that up a little bit. All right, so any questions on that one? All right. for a few more seconds. Okay. So for all those examples, we went from one term and we expanded out to multiple terms. But this time, we're going to take multiple terms and condense it all into one. Writing multiple logarithmic terms. Uh-oh, I was about to say expressions. As one term. Or one logarithmic term, to be specific. Okay, so writing multiple terms as one logarithmic term. Okay, so let's say if we have the example, write the expression as one logarithm. Okay, so if we have 1/2 log base b of x minus 2 minus log base b of y plus 3 times log base b of z. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is kind of reversing the power rule. So any coefficients automatically will become an exponent. So remove any coefficients by reversing the power rule. Okay. So that means if you have some p times log base b of m, that's just going to take that coefficient and move it as an exponent. So that's going to equal log base b of m to the p. Okay. So all we did was the power rule in reverse. So that gives us that 1/2 will now go up here. So we have log base b of x minus 2 to the 1/2 power minus log base b of y. That 3 now goes up there, plus log base b of z to the 3rd. Okay, so we got rid of all of our coefficients. Okay, so the second thing you want to do is going from left to right. Look at the plus or minus signs. Okay. If you see a plus sign, that means the product rule. If you see a minus sign, that means the quotient rule. Okay. So plus sign means product rule for logarithms, and the minus sign means quotient rule. All right, so we see here I'll just rewrite it underneath it. Log base b of x minus 2 to the 1/2 power minus log base b of y plus log base b of z to the third. Going left to right, we see we have a minus sign. So that means the quotient rule. Okay. So these two terms, as long as they have the matching base, they will combine to give us log base b of x minus 2 to the 1/2 divided by y. Okay. So that's just the quotient rule in reverse. And we still have that plus log base b of z to the third power. Okay, so we got rid of that first minus sign just by doing the quotient rule. So this plus sign, so plus sign means product rule. Move that up a little bit. There we go. So since that's the product rule, it's going to give us log base b of x minus 2 to the 1/2 power over y times z to the third. And of course, we can just get that z to the third and put it up top. Okay, so that equals log base b. Remember, x. Really? It's leaking. Oh, that's electric. Alrighty. That's unexpected. Yeah. Hope they kept the receipt. Okay. Is it? I don't think it's raining out, but I guess stuff is melting. Oh. I'm seeing if there's any tissue in here. Let me go get some paper towel. I'll wipe that off. Be right. Like it stopped. Oddly enough. Oddly enough, it just stopped. I'll try to finish it up on this wet sheet without tearing it. Alright, so finishing this up, we have log base b x minus 2 to the 1/2 power, that can just be the square root of x minus 2, times z to the third,